Folks, you need to be ready to have your jaw drop down pretty low when you hear the next bits and pieces of, as Vinny would say, skullduggery.
That's scumbaggery.
Scumbaggery, yeah.
Scumbaggery, sorry, as Vinny wouldn't say, skullduggery, as I said, skullduggery, leading to the enhanced category of scumbaggery. My apologies, Vinny. It's been too long since you said it.
Yeah, so the lower level of skullduggery and scumbaggery is, of course, douchebaggery, but I digress.
Yes, moving right on to municipal and judicial douchebaggery in Wood Buffalo and Fort McMurray. Zulkifil, tell us your story.
First of all, thank you so much. I know Dr. Rima already, and the other beautiful lady, Connie Shield, and Mr. Bob Leon. So my name is Zulkif Mujahid. I'm from Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and it's a small town, population of 70,000+ people living in this city. Before I start, I would like to say thank you, Mayor Jeff, because I'm purposely saying Mayor Jeff because I think you are still mayor because people elected you. And there is no rule and regulations according to the Canadian system, according to Alberta legislation, they can disqualify you, first of all. I was involved in politics. I started in 2016. Back home, I was involved in politics as well, but I want to focus on Canadian politics. In 2018, I've become a board of director of United Conservative Party for Fort McMurray Wood Buffalo constituency. And I found some irregularities, and which I believe, in my opinion, need to be changed. So I started my campaign secretly by meeting some UCP members, engaging more people to participate in party nomination elections, because I don't like people who stay outside and complaining, oh, this is bad, that's bad. Okay, if it's bad, go and fix it. So in 2020, then there was the election of Premier Jason Kenney. He was elected in 2018. I met him and I like him, the way he was doing campaign. Then there was a UCP nomination election happened in Lala Goodridge, between Lala Goodridge and Gail Broadband, and I was involved in that election. Then there is another election came, and which was in 2022. It was a Premier Daniel Smith. She got elected when Travis Toast and Rajan Sani, Brian Jean, they were running for election. So I support some other candidates who lost the election. So I can tell you, I support Travis Toast and Rajan Sani at that time, which makes some people mad. They don't like this. They think like they own the city. So then my election came, and incumbent Danny Yao, he was running for election, and basically last time even nobody challenged him. He got selected in 2018. So he was not ready for election. He was ready for selection, and he's good on that. So I defeat Mr. Danny Yao, who was the incumbent MLA and a parliamentary secretary for health, who was backed by Mr. Brian Jean, who was a minister of energy sector, who was backed by Premier Daniel Smith. So I make them upset. Then there are so many things they started against me. Some people, they came to me and they ask for, okay, we will help you out. I said, yeah, sure, let's work together. But every time these people, when they come, they ask for something before I take oath. Because in rural Alberta, if you are elected UCP candidate, I must say elected, you become MLA for sure in general election. You don't need to do anything. It's a bitter truth, because people are voting for their habit, and they think conservative part. Sorry, go ahead.
In this jurisdiction, yes. In others, there's still some who NDPs take the seat. But in Fort McMurray, in these ridings, it's hands down. If you are the candidate, you're the MLA.
So basically, UCP nomination election is toughest than the general election. It's not easy. It's a really tough election to be win. So when I won the election, there is an internet connection is bad, I guess.
It's okay.
Oh, it's okay. Okay. So so they can come always some and ask for something before I take my oath. And I always say, no, I am here to help the people. I'm here to work for the people who elected me. So it doesn't make me like shocked when I listen Jeff story, because in municipality elections, why UCP want to make it party election? Because according to their ideology and their thinking, almost all the municipalities of Alberta, they think belongs to UCP. So they want party elections over there. So they want selected people over there who will be answerable to United Conservative Party, and United Conservative Party will be answerable to United Nation and their like subsidiaries, and I would say subsidiaries, which is like UNESCO, World Health Organization, and like IMF. And when you are talking about World Health Organization, yes, they have they have a full influence in Canadian health system. And when you talk about UNESCO, all the municipalities in Canada, they have an agreement with UNESCO, which means they cannot make their own education policies. How I know? I studied. When I studied, I found like sexual orientation and gender identity who's bringing those evil um, education system. It came from the United Nations, and it's happening in Canada. And when I stand against these soji in schools, they try to manipulate, and they try to do like, okay, we will shift it. We will say like, these people, they are against, not they are against soji, they are against LGBTQ. I said, no, whatever LGBTQ are doing, it's their thoughts and beliefs, and they are mature. They are 18 plus. But I don't believe, and I don't want somebody teach my kids when they are go to school in grade 2 that show the books. And I would say these are the pornography books, which they put in libraries, and they say, okay, oh no, they are not reading those books. Then if kids are not reading those books, why you put over there? So we start campaign against Soji, and then I got threats, I got some calls. Even I tried to do some event work was cancelled. And so many my own people from my own community, Fort McMurray community. When I say my own people, I think my Fort McMurray is my community, and they are my own people. They were saying, oh, don't do this, like it's gonna make you bad in front of the people. I said, no, we need to tell the truth. And then those people were telling me, you cannot change the law. I said, you can change the law. You just need to go the proper way. There is a way. So we did protest, peaceful protest, and almost 1,000 people came, and they protest with together.
Wow.
Like Connie Shield was a co-host as well, co-organizer, and I was there as well as a co-organizer. And when they saw the momentum, I know whenever they saw the momentum, all the politicians, basically corrupt politicians, they are covered from their heart. When they see, okay, people are going towards this, okay, they try to change the policy. Then suddenly you see Daniel Smith comes to the media and say, we don't want to implement this SOGI and this and this. Why, were you sleeping at that time when it was implemented? And according to
I'm going to interrupt you there, Zakifel. She didn't say we don't want this.
she's going to put in legislation just to manipulate the word.
She played with it. She turned Trudeau's dial down a little bit. That's not getting us out of the United Nations directive of what to be teaching our kids, what age you can go in, send your 15-year-old in for a double mastectomy. That's not eliminating that. It's turning the dial back a bit. So that's where people are deceived that Daniel Smith is against all of this. She is not. She pours the water on it, like Bob says. But you kind of got off track there because you didn't tell people what happened to you in the election.
Yes. I think
Okay.
people need to know why you're not a sitting member of the government at the moment, how they managed to take the elected candidate and turn reality upside down, no matter what harm it would work to you and to the judicial system.
So I'm going to pull you back to where you'd won the nomination, and it surprised them because they just totally thought that Tanya Yao was just going to walk away with it. So you won the nomination. You were to run as our candidate, our UCP candidate in the election last year. What happened?
So they put fake charge against me.
No, hold up. Back up to to what first happened. You're at a meeting. Everything's going great.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you're at a meeting and you're told about some fake charges.
Yes.
A
So
recorded meeting, I might add. They're all recorded, remember?
yeah. So basically, I receive a call, and no, first case was a defamation charge against me. Okay. And yeah, that's the first defamation charge. And by the way, I can tell you, like, people in Fort McMurray, the business people, some of them, I know, Jeff, you are a business guy, but you are one of the good guy. But some people in Fort McMurray, they already know what is going to happen next year. What type of agenda is coming? So when I was elected candidate, I receive a call from some of the media guy and one of the big businessman, and they invite me. I said, why not? I'm available for everybody. So I went over there. They asked me some questions, and at that time, I did not know why they are asking these questions, because they want to know what's my agenda is, what I want to do, and my answers were not they were expecting. They want a corrupt guy. They want a person who can sell their soul. And I was not that guy, and I'm still not that guy. So next day, I got a defamation lawsuit. Very next day, like the guy put a defamation lawsuit against me. I don't want to say the name because still it's in the court. And and there was a sorry.
It's all fake. And I can stand up and speak to that. Maybe you can't because you're a little bit tied up. But I have seen the documents. I have seen all kinds of the evidence. And there's no question this is a fake charge. There's no question. We do have a bunch of fake judges, so who knows how it's going to turn out. But I mean, it's so corrupt, it's beyond corrupt, because all of the, I guess I have to be careful what I say too, but everybody in the case is a UCP member. And then we
Yeah.
can leave it at that and move on to the next thing that happened.
So basically, in nutshell, I can tell you, like, you just need to spend $10 and you can get all the evidences. You go to the court and they will provide you all the record. It's a public record. And Connie Shield, she went over there and she had all the records. That's how she know my story even. And because when we say something, they put contempt of court. We are telling, so I can tell you, like, the witness.
No, you don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
You don't
Okay.
for your sake, don't get into that. Go on to what happened with the restraining order.
So then I got another
Phone
fake
call.
charge against me, and that's a restraining order against me. And basically it's a restraining order without notice.
How did you find out about that restraining order?
Perfect. That's a good question. I was called by a UCP guy, and he texted me and he said, some people from UCP high rank, they want to talk to you on a Zoom meeting. I said, why not? So I talked to them on a Zoom meeting. They were asking me, do you have a restraining order against you? I said, what type of restraining order? What type of charge against me? Oh, there is a guy who put charge against you. I said, I don't know. If you have a copy, give it to me. So, and that's how I know like the restraining order against me. Then after that meeting, I received a restraining order. So basically, they know before me even.
UCP knew that he was having a restraining order served on him before he knew it.
So in my opinion, UCP is fully aligned with all these fake charges, 2 fake charges, and all the witnesses, everything. It was a political charges and politically motivated fake charges against me. And I was a victim, and I am a victim of miscarriage of justice.
And I can just say another
Yeah.
little piece of that. When I had several people, because for somebody who used to sit in the background all the time, I came out of the shadows and started telling the truth. And since then, I haven't shut up. So when people started hearing about his story, I got several people calling me saying, there's this guy who needs your help. And I said, I don't do politics. I'm the wrong person. But they kept, and after about the 3rd or 4th time somebody said, you need to meet with this guy, I went and I met with him. I heard the story. I went down to the courthouse. I got all the documents, because I'm not taking your word. Like, I don't trust people anymore. So I went and I got the documents. I went through them all. And I'm like, holy shit, somebody needs to help this guy. So I sat down with him and I went into court the day of that the judge was hearing about the restraining order. And because it's a restraining order, clearly neither the defendant nor the plaintiff can be in the courtroom. They were the lawyers were coming via Zoom. So I'm the only one sitting in the courtroom, and it happens to be the judge who signed the restraining order. And he starts hearing this information coming from the lawyer. He had no idea that Zukifel was a political candidate. He had no idea that this had any political background to it whatsoever. The guy who put the charge or got the restraining order is also a UCP member. And in a convoluted way, his witnesses are connected with the witnesses from the defamation case. And it's so convoluted and so obvious what happened. But the judge just sat on the bench and he was literally shaking his head because the light went on. He realized he had been duped. What the restraining order was for is the guy went in there claiming he feared for his life, that Zukifel had threatened to kill him. That's a pretty serious accusation. So of course, I mean, if I was the judge, I would have given the restraining order too. In the end of that court proceedings, the judge turned around and he squashed the restraining order. But he said, I'm going to put in a no contact order for Zukifel's protection. Because he saw what was going on. So, and that happened, so that the restraining order was thrown out before the election, which Zukifel still thought he was gonna get his riding back, but no. And it's been aired on Facebook, somebody leaked it, the meeting that Danielle Smith had with the remaining UCP people talking about reinstating Tani Yao, the selected one from before. And that's how they did it. But she had to go and change the bylaws in order to disqualify him and put Tani Yao back in. Now, that's how corrupt this UCP government is. They changed the bylaws so that they had legal rights to go and do what they did with no recourse.
So
Right.
basically, they changed the bylaw of United Conservative Party, in which they are saying in Alberta we have 87 constituencies total. So premier or the party leader have authority to select out of 87 constituencies, 87. So it's not an election anymore. It's just a selection. So she can select 87 people. So, and what they will do, they will answerable to United Conservative Party, because United Conservative Party is answerable to United Nations directly. And in my opinion, UCP is so in my opinion, corruption in UCP same like other parties.
Stop. You just said something that I need to have you expand. You said UCP is directly responsible to the United Nations. Could you say more about that, Zukifo?
Just before you do, Sukifil, I'm sorry, guys. I actually have to leave now. I've got
Oh.
a thing interviewing people who have been injured by the wonderful medical treatments of our government. So
Well, that's
I
gonna be a
will
long
actually have to.
interview.
Pardon, say what?
I said, that'll be a long interview. There's got to be millions of them.
Oh yeah, we do them a bit at a time. That's how you eat an elephant, they say. Okay, guys, been lovely to meet you all, and I'd just like to give you a little piece of encouragement. There's a lot of people in this world who don't understand who they are and don't understand what it is they're here to do. You're not one of them. You are examples for younger and less wise people to follow, and your contributions to mankind grow in value each day that you keep contributing. If you're going through hell, don't give up, because you never know whom you might encourage by standing up for the truth. Thank you all for your
Vinny.
time.
Thank you. We'll need you back with more time. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, guys. Catch you later.
So, Zukifo, to go back to your statement, which you tossed off as if you could go on to other things and not have to deal with it. I need to know what that meant in detail, please.
So, in my opinion, and I want to use purposely this word so I can save more defamation and lawsuits. I don't want to spend all my money in lawsuits anyway. So, in my opinion, corruption in UCP, same like other parties. UCP is fully aligned with United Nations. When I was inside the party, my disqualification was blessing for me. Because if I am sitting over there, maybe I cannot see the real picture, or I cannot say independently, because we have party policies. We cannot say. We need to say what they want us to say. So when I was inside, I found like when they say liberals, they want like net zero 2030, same like conservative. They want net zero 2050. They want agenda 2030. They want to depopularize, or you can say kill, or you can say murder humanity, genocide by using the health, education. Because I can tell you, health, education, infrastructure, it's a provincial jurisdictions. That's how I know this, because I study a lot on this. So when you talk about health, it's fully aligned with United Nations, UNESCO, World Health Organization. Okay. And whatever United Nations is saying, they are implementing over here. Recently in Alberta, they did 8 minor surgeries for transgender. 8 surgeries for the minors. So who are the responsible? So I think our government, in my opinion, is responsible for that criminal activity, because 8-year-old or 10-year-old kid, he or she don't know what is good for them. And when they know in future after 10 years, it's too late. Damage has been done. We cannot undo any surgery. And those surgery people, they need children, by the way, they need rest of their life a medical treatment, medical attention. So that's how I know and the money. And all these private organizations and a non-profit organization owned by or governed by these political figures, wife, daughter, son-in-law, brother-in-law, and that's how they make money. So that's how I know United Nations is fully aligned with United Conservative Party. Second thing, education. Education is a provincial jurisdiction. They are implementing sexual orientation and gender identity in the schools, by the way, which is coming from the United Nation,
Mhm.
by the using the name of UNESCO, another subsidiary of criminal organization, and they are aligned and they have an agreement. Jeff knows maybe all the municipalities, they have an agreement with UNESCO. You cannot make your own education policies.
You that's a big assumption there, Zakifa, because I don't think most local municipalities know anything about it. And that's how they're getting hoodwinked. And I've talked to a couple of our municipality council, and Jeff, do you recall your oath of office?
Geez, off the top of my head, no. I might be able to look it up while we're sitting here.
So
But, yeah.
I asked to see the oath of office, and of course nobody knew where it was, but I sent an email to the mayor's office, and the administration answered me and sent me a copy of all of our councilors' oath of office. Guess who they swear their oath to? The office.
Oh,
Not the
yes.
people. The office. Well, the office in the corporate agreement is the corporation. So you're swearing your oath to the corporation, which is a private corporation. It is not we, the people, who elected our council. Therein lies the problem. This is why Maggie Braun has been doing a lot of great work in Canada, going out and doing deputations to councils. Because most of our council, I mean, we elected them. These are our neighbors. These are people we know. So it's not like we're saying that they knew or that they know what's going on. But it's our job, I think, to teach them what's going on. Because this is not conspiracy theory. It's all over the place. And I can show you where your own municipality is signed on to this. It's so scary and so deep. And these globalists, they knew what they were doing, and they've been doing it for centuries. It's not anything new to them. We're just now in the crunch of it. But they know that it's so convoluted that it's hard to explain to somebody who's not fully awake to all of this as to what's going on. A prime example of that, and I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Zukifa, but but like I told you earlier, I've got a big mouth.
That's okay.
We've one of the things that there's so much division on is whether or not there's chemtrails or contrails. A lot of us believe that there's chemicals being sprayed in the air. We don't have to believe it. We can go and look. There are agreements between the US and Canada not to spray in each other's space. So it's not is this happening? Of course it is happening. Whether that cloud is a chemtrail or a contrail really is irrelevant. But here last week, Tuesday of last week, I took a picture of the Fort McMurray sky, and it was insane. I sent that picture to our mayor and said, what is happening here? Because I had put him on a three-way call with the Monjabi, a guy who is explaining all of the smart technology and the 15-minute cities and all of that. He's a Silicon Valley guy. Anyways, and our mayor knew about the spraying. He'd been having trouble with his chest and coughing and whatnot. So I sent him this picture and I said, what is going on? My office is out at the airport. These planes are not landing or taking off from this airport. Where are they coming from? So I sent that email. He told me to email it in. So I sent the email in. Administration's response to me was, if you work at the airport, get them to tell you. Excuse me? They're flying in our airspace. But the very next day, and you probably can't see this, maybe you can. The very next day on the weather app is this notification. Severe weather alert, but it's not the weather. Severity, moderate. Possible threat to life or property. That's the only line I had to see. Because this alert put out by Environment Canada is all this municipality needs to activate the Expropriation Act, which gives them right of entry onto the property of anybody in this municipality. And the average person doesn't know that, and I will guarantee you our mayor and council don't know that. Our administration staff, yeah, damn rights they know it.
Oh, yeah.
As this is the United Nations land grab, the 30 by 30 it's called. There's just, and that's the whole thing. There's so much information, you don't know where to start and stop.